Welcome to Lecture Online. Now we're going to take a look at the tension. How do we find the tension on the string inside a system or pulling a system? Well, we have various techniques, but the main technique is to be able to isolate an item within the system where the tension is active. So let's start with a very simple example. Here we have a wall with a bracket. On the bracket there's a rope attached and there's a force pulling on the rope. The little dot there simply is an attachment where the force is pulling on the rope. So if we pull with a force of 100 newtons, what will be the tension on the rope? So what we could do is we could draw a free body diagram where the force is applied to the rope, and realizing that the force is pulling to the right, the tension is pulling to the left. And you may say, well, how do you know the tension is pulling to the left? Well, it depends what your reference point is. In reference point to where the force is pulling, the tension is pulling to the left. But in reference to the bracket, the tension is pulling to the right. So the tension is always dependent upon what the reference point is. So in the case here, where we're pulling on the rope, the tension is pulling to the left, the force is pulling to the right relative to that point. And then you realize that the acceleration is zero because nothing is moving, and since the force is equal to the mass times acceleration, since acceleration is zero, the net force must be zero, and the net force is the force pulling to the right and the force pulling to the left. Of course, the force pulling to the left will give you a negative sign because it's to the left, so positive force minus tension equals zero, so therefore the force must equal the tension, and therefore it must equal 100 newtons. So that's how we determine the tension in a rope when a force is acting on it. So let's apply that to something like this. Let's say two people are pulling on a rope and they're both pulling in opposite directions. Let's say that they're each pulling with a force of 100 newtons, so nothing is going anywhere because there's a force of 100 newtons pulling to the left, a force of 100 newtons pulling to the right, the net force is zero, so therefore there's no acceleration, nothing is moving. So the acceleration is zero, that means the net force, which is equal to the mass times the acceleration, must also equal zero. Now, what if I isolate a single person right here? So we have the tension pulling to the right relative to this person right here, and we have a force 1 pulling to the left. So we have a free body diagram. We see one force going this way, one force going this way, and the sum of the forces must equal zero because there's no acceleration, the person doesn't move. So plus t, because that's acting to the right, minus F1, which is acting to the left, adds up to zero. Therefore, the tension must equal force 1 when moved up to the other side. And since force 1 is equal to 100 newtons, the tension is equal to 100 newtons. What if a force is pulling on an object, making it accelerate? And let's say the coefficient of friction is equal to zero. The acceleration will be to the right. What is the tension on that rope? So what we could do is we could figure out the acceleration of the system like we did before with Newton's second law. F net equals mass times acceleration. Acceleration is the net force divided by the mass. And since the only force acting on the system is the pull of the force right here, it will be 100 newtons divided by 10 kilograms. We get the acceleration of 10 meters per second squared. So now that we know the acceleration, now we can isolate this block right here. We can now see that what's pulling the block to the right is the tension. The tension will cause the block to accelerate at 10 meters per second square. So when we solve for the tension, we again get 100 newtons. So again, this particular situation and this particular situation are very similar. It doesn't matter, there's a block being pulled to the right, really makes no difference. The tension must be the same as the force acting on that rope. So what if there's friction and we have an additional friction force here? Does that make any difference? The answer is no. We can just isolate what goes on right here. We can simply say that there's a force pulling to the right, 100 newtons, a tension pulling to the left relative to that point where the force is attached to the rope. In this case, inside my free body diagram, there is no mass. There's simply a force pulling on a rope. And we assume that the rope is so small in mass that we can ignore it. If that's the case, if there's no mass, then the net force must equal zero because the net force equals mass times acceleration. So even though there will be an acceleration, and we could figure out what the acceleration is using the same methodology here. Of course, the net force would be the force pulling minus the friction force. So we get a new acceleration. And then we can take a free body diagram around the block, and then we'll see what the tension would be equal to. but you get the same answer simply drawing a free body diagram over here. And then you can see that since the mass is 0, net force equals 0, therefore the force pulling to the right minus tension pulling to the left must equal 0, and therefore the tension must also equal 100 newtons. So it doesn't matter if there's friction in a block, no friction in a block, or friction in a block, the tension here will be equal to the force pulling on the rope. But where things differ is when you have more than one mass. Let's say you have two masses that are connected with a rope and you want to find the tension in here, and you have a force pulling on the first mass, but of course that force is pulling both masses. Then you have to find the acceleration of the system first. So there you have no choice. Again, the acceleration is the net force divided by the total mass. Since there's only one force pulling on it, there's no friction, there's nothing pulling back in the opposite direction, the net force is F minus 0. Total mass, 5 kilograms plus 5 kilograms is 10 kilograms, so we found the acceleration of 10 meters per second squared. Now, to find the tension here, we draw a free body diagram on the second mass. Notice there's only one force coming out of that free body diagram, which is the tension on M1. It's pulling to the right relative to M1. It's pulling to the left relative to the M2, but we don't care about that. We just isolate M1. We use net force equals mass times acceleration. The net force here will be the tension. There's nothing pulling back. There's no friction. Times mass times acceleration. So here you can see that the tension is the mass times the acceleration that we found over here, and therefore the tension there is 50 newtons. What if there's friction? Well, now notice that we have the one force pulling to the right. We have the two blocks, 5 and 5 kilograms. We want the tension in between the two blocks. Notice that we have the weight due to gravity for M1 and M2. We have the normal force pushing back, the floor pushing back against the blocks with the same magnitude of force but opposite direction. And that causes two friction forces. Friction force 1, friction force 2, which is the normal force times mu, or M1g mu. Here it's M2g mu. So there we can see that we first need to find the acceleration again, but now the acceleration will have the aiding forces minus the opposing forces, the force pulling the blocks to the right, the two friction forces pulling in the opposite direction, the total mass. That gives you an acceleration of about 9 meters per second squared. Then to find the tension, now you isolate this one again right here. To find the tension, you say, okay, the tension must equal, well, how do we find the tension? We go here and we go the net force, which is the tension pulling to the right, minus the friction force pulling to the left, because what we're doing here is we're now drawing a free body diagram around this portion only. So we have the tension pulling to the right, the friction force pulling to the left. So here we have tension to the right minus M1g mu, friction force to the left, equals M1a. And so we solve for the tension, and we then see it's equal to M1a plus M1g mu. The tension is equal to the force needed to accelerate M1 at 9 meters per second squared, plus the force required to overcome the friction. Finally, what happens if we have 3 blocks, and we're trying to find the tension here and the tension there? Again, the first thing you need to do, just like before, you find acceleration, which is the net force divided by the total mass. If there's no friction, the net force is just the force you're pulling with. If there is friction, you of course then have to subtract the friction on each of these 3 blocks. You find the acceleration of the system with or without friction, doesn't matter. And then you find the tension. So if there's no friction here, the tension here is simply going to be this mass times acceleration. F equals ma, tension equals ma. What we do is we draw a free body diagram over here, and you can see that the only force acting on here is the tension to the right, and that must equal the mass times acceleration. But what if we want to know this tension? Then we need a free body diagram around both blocks. And now we have T2, the only force acting on this part of the system. And so that force will equal the force required to accelerate the first block plus the force required to accelerate the second block. So T2 will be M1a plus M2a. Of course, this force here will be equal to the force required to accelerate all 3 masses, so it will be M1a plus M2a plus M3a. That's another way of looking at it as well. So that is how we figure out the tension on a situation that's static, nothing is moving, the tension on something where something is moving, we can find the acceleration of the system and then find the tension, or we can simply isolate a simple point right there, and we find the tension to be equal to the force applied to it because there's no mass associated with that, with the connection. Or if there are masses associated with it, we find the acceleration of the system, and then the tension will be equal to the force required to accelerate that individual part of the mass of the system. So that gives you a good inroad to understanding how to find the tension in the case of either having no objects accelerating or having objects accelerating. And that's at least a start on it. There's some more examples that we'll show you in the next video.